Welcome everybody, Steve here. Well, we're continuing on Project Grady. Now we got the cab, the inside painted, and outside ready to go. So now we have to start working on all the other little things to put this thing back together. So I got doors I got to get started on, but first we're going to start putting it together. So we're going to need inner fenders and a bunch of that other front tin so that we can, build the truck, and then all we have to do is just throw fenders and everything together on top of that. But these inner fenders, it's a 56, so it's pretty typical. Got a big rust spot right here, so draw a little triangle, or a rectangle I should say. It's been a while since I've been in school. I'm going to cut that out, clean it up, and prep that up. And this little spawn here, you do kind of see it because it's just right there. So we want to make sure that that's cleaned up and looking good. Then we're going to sandblast this, and hopefully we don't find any little dents. But if we do, we'll look after them, and then we can spray them black. All right, it's hot out today. Another hot one, but I love it. We wait all year for this here in Canada, because we know what's coming. Passenger side was way worse. I got a pretty good patch to put in there. Got to make a little bit of a magic band here. But the only way to clean this up, sandblaster. And some of these pits here, I'm just going to fill them in with my welder. We'll grind that, give her a shot of primer, and then we can make a patch for that. The other side isn't as bad, but it still needs a couple pits need to be filled up as well. Okay, I put quite a bit of time into making this little patch here. Well, not that long. But I could have done it in a couple pieces, but then I can shape it all. I got a little bit of a bend over here, and kind of feathers all out. And it's kind of a pain. But I think we got her. Now we just have to weld her in. And don't forget your plug welds here to help support everything. So we'll drill some holes. today we're going to fire up the big sandblaster. So I've got a bunch of tins, those inner fenders that I welded up, and I want to get all this stuff sandblasted. It's really nice to, if you got a sandblaster, any spot that's, you know, hard to sand, you can just give it a little blast and you're good to go. And it helps clean things up and it makes it go a lot faster. And it will show any pits. You know, if you got a good sandblaster, you know, it'll blast out that rust, and if there's a pit, then we gotta repair it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get prepped up here. I've cut away all the old weather strip. Now I'm just gonna take a buff that out of there, because sandblaster doesn't like rubber. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's a messy job. Leave the door open. It's going to be stuff everywhere. Well, after sandblasting, you can just see, hopefully you can see that, the pit holes in here, everywhere. This is the part of restoration that really frustrates you. So we looked for another one, and I've already done the welding up here. I've never seen it ever rust down here like this before. So I guess we'll just take the welder and fill them all up, do some body work. There's lots of them. I'll count them. Well, I think I got them. Now there was at least 50, well more than 50 pits in there. You kind of lose track when you're having so much fun. But when you're grinding, you got to make sure you're good with your grinder, because the metal is so thin, it's so easy to grind through. And if you do, you just pack her up and go home. Because you're having a bad day. But if you take your time, you should be able to just scratch the surface. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to put just a light little bit of undercoat, and then I'm going to put some filler on here to fill up the pits. When the rust is coming from this side, as long as we protect it from this side, they're not going to come back. Well, that was unexpected. It's going to throw in some extra time, but oh well, you know, could buy a new one, but then we have to wait 2 months. Yeah, let's carry on. I know this is a little unfun, but you know, you see it. The last thing you want to see is just shoddy underneath the hood. Because that's where you do all your bragging. So yesterday we did a lot of sandblasting. Got lots of pieces here. These are the inner fenders. We got the front wrap support, all that kind of stuff. So just to prep this, anything on the inside, this is the that you're going to see. I will sand it with some 80 grit, and that'll determine whether or not, you know, we have a little dent or something like that. And it smooths it out a little bit nicer, so you just get a little bit better finish. So that is what I'm going to be doing for the next little while. It won't be as bad as that one. Lots of pits I had to fix in there. But it's coming. Well, it's the next morning and primer's dry. All that's left to do now is sand it. Just gonna sand it with some 280 grit. Well, first of all, all the grit there. Do a little guide coat. This will help if, just because of the pits, you'll be able to see them a lot better. And if there's a bad one, you can just fill it later. Just about out. we got things hung up, got everything all sanded. Didn't want to bore you too much with that because that is really boring. But they're hung, I got lots of stuff, got more stuff on this side, you guys can't see it. It's a mirror image of this side. So I just got to cover up some of the stuff in my shop, and then we can start spraying. So I'm just gonna do the same that I would use for a frame. I'm gonna do some black epoxy primer, and then I'm gonna go over it with a semi-gloss black. So, should look good. All right, scatter. Everything's all painted. Now, my battery died. I was gonna actually show you some of the painting. Had the door open so my camera was outside, but anyway. Those are the things that just happen when you're YouTubing. And everything looks really, really good. So this has been a couple days since I painted, so everything is all dry. So now we can take these down, start doing some assembly, start working on some doors. Just going to show you what the inner tins look like once we got them on. Of course, we got this in our tent right now. Waiting some doors, and they look really, really good on there.